My channel inputs historical philosophy into the modern times, from religious concepts to the behaviors of historical queens. Now, for those who thrive on deep messaging, I recently came across a video titled, How Men Ruthlessly Choose High Value Women, a philosophy rooted in Machiavelli's dark arts. This is a shout out to the original content creator, Philosopher, who deep dived into the message for the modern man. Let's watch.
History does not pity the fool who chooses the wrong woman. That is the unspoken law every man eventually learns, but most learn it when it's already too late, standing over the grave of their own potential, wondering how the hell they let their kingdom fall without firing a single shot. You see, the world will never warn you. Your mother won't. Your friends can't. And society? It profits from your blindness. But Machiavelli knew. He knew that behind every destroyed man was not fate, not bad luck, not tragedy, but the wrong woman he foolishly let inside his life. And while the masses sell you dreams of loyalty, love, and happily ever after, Machiavelli whispers the truth. Men in general judge more from appearances than from reality. All men have eyes, but few have the gift of penetration. You're not here to be entertained. You're here to survive. And what I'm about to tell you, no one else will dare to say aloud. There are only two types of women in this world, beneficial and destructive. That's it. No shades, no maybes, no grey area. You are either upgrading your life by choosing her, or you are slowly killing yourself by letting her stay. And here's the cruel reality. Most women today have mastered the art of appearing beneficial while being nothing but parasites in disguise. Yes, I said it. You can sugarcoat it if you want, but that won't stop your life from burning down around you when you choose wrong. This is not about hate. This is not about war. This is about strategy. Because Machiavelli taught us, he who seeks to deceive will always find someone who will allow himself to be deceived. That someone has always been the weak man who refuses to think before he feels. So here's your first commandment. Never choose based on appearance alone. Never. She can be the most beautiful woman you've ever seen, but if her mind is empty, her values are rotten, and her loyalty is for sale to the next highest bidder, you are not looking at a queen. You are looking at a polished poison. Machiavelli said, everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. Are you hearing me? Few will ever dare to look beyond beauty. But the real man, the strategic man, he looks deeper. He sees the woman's patterns, her choices, her loyalties, her respect for discipline. He watches how she moves when no one is looking, how she speaks about people who aren't in the room, how she treats waiters, family, herself. Because men who lose everything almost always ignored these small signals. You don't just stumble into a beneficial woman. You select her. You test her. You observe her like a general studies the terrain before battle. Machiavelli wrote, the wise man does at once what the fool does finally. Stop being the fool who waits until he's trapped. You don't get to complain later if you ignored the warnings now. And let me tell you the second commandment. Never select a woman who does not respect masculine authority. Period. If she sees your strength as a threat instead of a shelter, leave. If she competes with your leadership instead of complementing it, leave. If she challenges your vision but offers no wisdom, leave. Because a woman who cannot respect masculine order will turn your life into feminine chaos. This is how kings fall. This is how legacies die. You are not here to save her. You are not here to fix her. You are here to build, and building requires alignment, not opposition. Machiavelli warned that men who fail to secure their power soon become slaves to the very forces they once tried to tame. You think you can handle her drama. You think you can manage her disrespect. You think love will fix it. No, it won't. Because she knows something you don't. You've already chosen her, and now she holds the power you handed over like a fool. Power is never something you negotiate in a relationship. You either possess it or you forfeit it. And most men, in their desperation to be loved, hand over their power wrapped in velvet words like compromise, understanding, and partnership. Noble words, beautiful lies. Machiavelli was ruthless in exposing this fantasy. It is much safer to be feared than loved, if you have to choose between the two. You hear that? If you must choose. Because in the real world, love without respect is slavery with a smile. And the man who lets a woman rule him in the name of peace is no different from the puppet king wearing a crown made of tin while his kingdom rots behind closed doors. If you want to know who she really is, observe her reaction to your boundaries. Tell her no. Watch how she responds. Cut off her access to your time, your money, your attention. Listen to the silence that follows. Will she respect your distance? Or will she manipulate you back with tears, guilt, and empty promises? You see, most women today have been trained by a weak society to believe that men exist to serve their endless emotional appetites, and most men, desperate to keep the peace, serve on their knees. But you are not most men, not after this. Your third commandment is this: watch how she handles boredom. Because every woman is on her best behavior when she's entertained, when she's receiving gifts, when the attention is endless. But boredom is where true character is revealed. Does she create value in silence, or does she seek chaos to feel alive? Does she sit with patience, or does she ignite petty arguments just to feel important again? Because the woman who cannot master her emotions in boredom will destroy your life when real trials begin. You want a woman who brings peace, not a ticking time bomb that explodes every time reality gets quiet. And then there's the lie you've heard all your life, that a high body count doesn't matter, that her past is none of your business, that you're insecure if you care. Machiavelli would laugh in your face. The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present. Men today have been fooled into believing that a woman's history has no impact on her loyalty. But history is the only predictor you have. A woman who has betrayed others before you is not starting fresh with you. She's sharpening her knife while you look the other way. Watch her past, because it's screaming your future. The fourth commandment: never invest in a woman whose values you do not share. You're a man with a vision, or at least you should be. And a man with a vision does not marry lust. He aligns with mission, your mission. If she mocks your discipline, if she rolls her eyes at your ambition, if she cares more about social media than your legacy, leave. I don't care how good she looks in a dress. I don't care how sweet she sounds when she wants something. Because here's the truth you refuse to swallow. The wrong woman will cost you your destiny. And no amount of pleasure is worth the graveyard of your potential. And finally, here's the commandment: no man wants to hear, but every man must obey. If she does not fear losing you, she will never truly value you. That's the coldest law of all. The woman who believes you'll always be there, no matter what, no matter how far she disrespects you, no matter how much she stops adding value, that woman will slowly grow to despise you. Why? Because what costs nothing is worth nothing, and Machiavelli knew this better than anyone. Men should be either caressed or crushed, and women by their nature will do the same to you. If she cannot lose you, she will crush you. If she fears losing you, she will rise to meet you. Men who are feared are not cruel. They are respected, because their absence means something. So stop being so available. Stop rewarding bad behavior with more attention. Stop begging for scraps when you should be commanding loyalty. The man who is willing to walk away owns the power. Always has. Always will. It's easy to preach these truths. It's much harder to live them. Because to live them, you must first kill the fool inside you. The romantic fool, the desperate fool, the boy who still believes love alone can conquer a woman's nature. You've been trained to think that your sincerity will save you, that your loyalty will change her, that your devotion will make her stay. It won't. This is why so many men are broken today, not by women, but by their own illusions about women. Machiavelli was merciless with men who refused to face reality. Men are driven by two principal impulses, either by love or by fear. And make no mistake, fear holds more power than love. Always has, always will. The woman you can't walk away from is the woman who owns you, and she knows it. Watch how differently a woman treats the man she knows she could lose. Her tone softens, her loyalty sharpens, her chaos shrinks. But the man who makes himself endlessly available, he gets the opposite. She grows colder, she grows bolder, she tests him, not because she's evil, but because female nature does not trust what it does not respect, and a man who refuses to protect his value is not a man worth following. Let me make it clearer than ever before. The most dangerous woman in a man's life is the one who sees him as an emotional provider, but not as a leader. You think she loves you because she vents to you, because she cries on your shoulder, because she tells you her fears. But pay attention. Does she follow your guidance? Does she submit to your leadership? Does she rise when you raise the standard? If not, you are not her king. You are her emotional trash can. And she will use you until she finds a man she actually respects. You think that's harsh? Good. Let it burn.
Now let me take it further. Let's talk about the man the world keeps misunderstanding, Niccolo Machiavelli. He was a man born 1469, died 1527, a time when power wasn't given, it was snatched. Machiavelli lived in the brutal trenches of power during the Italian Renaissance, a time when Italy wasn't one unified nation, but a cluster of warring city-states, Florence, Milan, Venice, and the Papal States. Think Game of Thrones with less dragons and more backstabbing popes. Machiavelli wasn't just a writer, he was a senior official and diplomat for the Republic of Florence, often sent to negotiate with ruthless rulers, a strategist, a soldier in mind, who came face to face with the real cost of peace. The Medici family, the mafia of Florence, overthrew the republic he served. They arrested him, tortured him, and exiled him like a dog. And that's when he picked up the pen. The Prince, 1513, his most infamous book, a brutally honest guide on how rulers should gain, keep, and use power. A survival guide for rulers. And it was his message to the man with power in one hand and a snake in the other. He wrote, "It's better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. A man who wishes to make a profession of goodness will soon come to ruin." Was that evil, or was that just real? Machiavelli stripped away fantasy, and he mocked idealism. He didn't believe in those fairy tales, he believed in strategy. And Machiavelli separated morality from politics because in his world, virtue didn't keep you alive, wisdom did. Machiavelli foresaw the modern world, where image beats virtue, where perception is power, and where the soft man loses by default. He was the first to say out loud what most rulers only thought. Power isn't about playing fair. It's about winning the game and keeping your crown. Because he knew when you play the game of power, it's not about being good. It's about not getting played. He saw the weakness in soft men. He saw the danger in weak leaders. He watched thrones fall, not from violence, but from stupidity, trust, and poor judgment. That's why today, 500 years later, Machiavelli is more relevant than ever. Because we live in a world obsessed with image over substance, with applause over action, with kings bowing to peasants for praise, and Machiavelli warned us all. Power doesn't care how kind you are, it only listens to how clever you are. And we have been fed that love conquers all, but Machiavelli will laugh in our face. He didn't write about love songs, he wrote about power, preservation, strategy. Machiavelli warned men that fortune can be a woman, but they are wild, untamed, and they bend only to the man who takes command, not the man who pleads, not the man who submits, not the one who trades his kingdom for sweet looks. When you look around today, men fall every day. They fall in DMs, they fall in courtrooms, they fall in homes they paid for with a woman who offers nothing but demands everything. Because many of these men thought love was the goal, not his legacy. They mistaked beauty for loyalty and attention for affection. Many men have handed the throne to these peasants, these brothel harlots, the women who didn't come to build, but came to benefit. A man pours his strength into a woman with no vision, no reverence, and no understanding of power. She will only spend his riches frivolously, devalue his time for TikToks, and throw his name under the bus like it's disposable. Machiavelli would have told men, this is not a love story, this is a conquest and you're losing. The modern man forgets, the woman you choose is either your legacy or your liability. She will either multiply your name or bury it. You don't let harlots sit on the thrones. You don't beg the ungrateful to understand your greatness. You don't expect royalty from a woman who's never seen a kingdom built, let alone can build one herself. Power is not for the pure, and love is not for the naive. A man who builds without strategy is building for someone else to take it. The king who forgets that becomes the peasant. And Machiavelli already wrote the ending. Because in the end, Machiavelli didn't weep for the prince who lost love. He buried the fool who forgot the game. The crown isn't stolen, it's surrendered. And the man who gives it to a woman who never earned it writes his own downfall in silence. This was a phenomenal take on philosophy. Deep, deliberate, and dangerous. One that every man can grasp if he's bold enough to listen. But what do y'all think? Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell to alert you for all my new content. Shout out for all my new subscribers getting me over my threshold of 1,000. Now I'm at 2,000 and a plus. And I appreciate you all and I hope you tune in. And as always, I truly thank you all for watching.